it out and then shift it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, just shifting it just changed my diet overnight. I was like, oh, such a relief. I didn't have to eat sugar to get close to God anymore.
That makes me giggle. I love that. So you say you just go into that theta state and you shift it. I bet there's some listeners out there who are thinking, okay, if this is right before sleep, meditate, how do I go in there and how do I shift it? Because how do you stay conscious to shift it and then go in there and kind of be not so conscious? Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah. So, obviously, you have to go and be trained, because it's a skill to be able to keep your brain in a theta state and be conscious, because it's quite it's very close to sleep cycle. So we in theta we use a very special meditation where we let the energy come up from the earth, we let it open up all our chakras, we imagine a ball of light above our head, we put our consciousness into that ball, and then we use that ball to travel up through the universe, like through the stars and the solar system and all of that stuff, and the galaxies. And then we go through a jelly-like substance, which represents the laws of the universe, like the law of karma, the law of magnetism, because, the laws bind us, the law of gravity will bind us to earth. We kind of want to move beyond everything. We want to move beyond our judgment. We want to move beyond the collective consciousness. That's why we go up, 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 beyond it all. And then we go into a beautiful pink cloud, which is the law of compassion, and that always prepares us to go to the divine light, compassion. And then we just go right up to that beautiful, sparkly light of all that is. And, when you get there, you just feel like, oh, I'm at home. And, you can connect then more to the truth. So you've bypassed your judgments. You're bypassing your ego to connect to the truth of what needs to shift. And the more you practice this meditation, the easier it is to connect. And then all of a sudden, you don't even have to go through the whole meditation, which can take like 2 or 3 minutes to go through. You can just connect when you're there. Train the pathway.
I like that you said bypassing judgment, because going back to your first belief, I can hear the knee-jerk reaction that some listeners might be having. I have a good work ethic. You do have to work hard. That's that judgment piece. Judgment. So it's bypassing it and just suspending those beliefs that maybe I don't. Maybe it can be different. So I love that you go up and move beyond that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you need to be able to hear the truth. If you're locked in your judgments or your ego or your heartbreak or your ancestral programs, you're never going to be able to see beyond that, and that's what we're needing to do. We're always needing to see beyond our limitations.
Mm-hmm. And I think the point of that too is see beyond it, and then you can make some choices. You might move beyond and decide, no, I really liked where I was at.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're making a conscious choice, like, hey, everything's fine and it's cool,
Yeah, and I'm fine. So for listeners who are thinking, I'm in, I want to do this meditation, how can they get a hold of that, or how can they learn more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a meditation on my YouTube account and on my website. If you go to the Theta Healing page, so there'll be the Theta Healing meditation. So you can go up through the journey and then connect, clear some beliefs if you wanted to. And I also have some free online courses on my website too. So if you just go find it, you'll find an online course for women about sensuality. You'll find an online course about, journeying into heaven and making heaven an embodiment. And one of my favorite ones is a rebirth into love. So that will heal all your corrupted love patterns. I'm a big believer in love, and I hate, it really upsets me to see people that have been broken in love or broken by their families or been really twisted in relationships or abused and all that. It just breaks my heart. So I did like a whole 10 module course to help me rebirth back into love. So.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Just amazing. So tell the listeners your website so they know where to find you.
Yeah, it's really easy. It's just www.vanyasilverten.com. So it's my name.com, and it's an EN on the end. Most people think it's Silverton, but it's actually Silverten, as in 10 with silver. Yeah.
Perfect. And I will link it on my show page and on my social media accounts and all of that too, so people can find out some more. Broken by love. Yes. Isn't that the truth? It's kind of the universal human condition that people hurt us and people break our hearts, but we can get beyond that.
you have to heal it. You know, you have to heal the broken love inside of you. You know, that's just part of our journey. Because I think deep down we're such loving beings, all of us are, and you know, we go with such good intentions into relationships, and they can all get messed up and twisted, and when we can be very damaged after a relationship. But you have to return yourself back to love. You know, you have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You won't find joy and you won't find happiness if you don't do that. You know, it's just you have to. No one should become bitter in life because they've been broken by love. It's you know, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But the quicker you learn to master love within yourself, the less likely you're going to get damaged in future relationships. So, yeah.
That's such a good point. And you know, before you were saying that, I was thinking this does tie back into that sexual energy, that sensual energy of being connected with yourself and feeling that power and that love and that glow and that vibrancy. And it's not that we won't be damaged, and it's not that we won't meet other damaged people, but if we have ourselves to fall back on, it really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. It helps you navigate through relationships better. It helps you to go, I know this relationship's going to be problematic. I ain't going down that path because I know how damaged that one can be. And it also means that if you're more stable in love, then you allow other people to then step up and be stable in love too. So it helps in so many ways.
Yeah, it really does. Because energy, we're all energy. And we match each other's energies. So by healing ourselves, we can help heal others. And by having a sacred, wonderful love relationship, we create more sacred, healthy love everywhere. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, and exactly what you said is what I believe our path towards enlightenment is. I believe love is the path towards enlightenment. Not an easy journey. It hurts sometimes. It can be painful, but we have to learn to keep coming back to love, keep coming back to love in ourselves, keep making that relationship come back to love, keep learning the lessons of love. And I believe that's our spiritual path. That's our human spiritual path into enlightenment.
Yeah. And like that pink layer you were talking, it's that compassion. To be in compassion, we have to be in that state of universal love and understanding that it's the mistakes that are made, the things that are said or done, we can experience compassion or bitterness, and I choose compassion.
Yeah, I do too. I absolutely do too. It's the only way. Absolutely. And then when you're more compassionate, you're less judgmental, and then you can really see the uniqueness in everyone. Then you can see that diversity, that uniqueness, different ways of doing things, and life becomes much more interesting when you operate from compassion.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah, that bitterness and judgment, you shut down and you reject and you separate, and you know that's when you get very sad.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Okay, now we were talking a bit about some of the ancestral patterns, you know, farmers and working hard, and you've had this big shift in your life. Have there been people in your life that have thought, this is weird, I don't get it? And how did you manage that? Because I'm thinking some listeners might be thinking, well, that makes sense, but I can't reject my whole family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a really good question. I think there's a part of me that's a little bit rebellious. So I'm like, well, this is who I am, take it or leave it. So I'm a bit like that anyways. But my mom was quite cool with it. Actually, my mom, bless her heart, she kept attracting troubled relationships, and she did the basic and advanced theta healing. And after that class, she went back and she finally left the aggressive abuser.
Oh,
and
good.
More than this, and she left him and enrolled at university. So she really found a big shift in her life just from discovering her worthiness and that she can shift things to become worthy. My father, on the other hand, he's a very dedicated Christian, and he couldn't understand it. He was like, there's only one way. There's only one way, and you go through Jesus, and that's the way. And I said to him, yeah, but I believe in Jesus, and I believe in the goodness of God, and I believe, that I believe in all of that. But I just also know that there's other ways to connect and communicate to the divine energy. That's all. And
right.
He couldn't quite get his head around it, but he would let me pray with him, which was me then being able to help and heal him. Do you know? So that was quite nice.
Oh, I like that.
So that's how we got through it. And he was like, okay, cool, let's pray to God. And I was like, okay, can we? And he was really into like blessing and praying and all that kind of stuff and having a, may you be helped and all that stuff. So we just, that was his gateway in to connect to the divine energy. So yeah, let's go for it.
Mm-hmm. Because you're right. Earlier you said God, universe, divine energy, Allah, whoever. And I know people have different beliefs, but to me, it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter if you call it meditation or prayer or blessing or whatever. It's all love. It's all divine, and we can have different words.
Yeah, different words and different ways of accessing it, and that's okay, and that's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the State of Healing, you help people with allergies, sensitivities. Talk a little bit about how that works, about how clearing on that emotional, spiritual place can clear physically.
Yeah, so sometimes people get allergies, like they might get an allergy to grass, for example. So they were sitting out in the grass, and then all of a sudden their mother shouted at them and screamed at them, or there might have been some trauma or something that happened while they're sitting on the grass, and their emotional body reacted and then interpret the reaction as grass. So every time then later on in their life they go sit on the grass, the actual emotional trauma that's still trapped inside their body gets replayed out again. And then they get that, inflammation and reaction again. So what you can do is, if you can find the root of when the allergy began, and I'm sure you do this in hypno as well, you can go through and unlock the story behind it so that the person then can go sit on grass and not get the same trigger. And that obviously works for food as well, and allergies too. So yeah, it's always fascinating to see why people form things. Like I had one girl, really fascinating. She had a bit of an eating disorder, so she would only eat green leaves and nuts. Okay, so she was like malnourished. It just, this diet wasn't working for her, but she was like, no, this is all I can do. So I went in and had a look, and she had this belief that she could only eat fairy food. Now, I don't know where she picked this up from. Like, it may have been from a child. Maybe it was watching Fern Gully growing up. I don't know.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Nuts, yeah. So yes, we had to shift that for her. And then all of a sudden, she could then start to incorporate root vegetables and potato. I mean, it was a bit of a journey for her because she didn't need disorder, but this was part of the way that we unlocked it. We had to go in and find out what were the beliefs that were controlling and restricting her diet, and just help her feel comfortable. Talking about diet, because it's a big topic. I had another girl who had eating disorder and anorexia, and I went in and had a look, and I was told, release all the subliminal advertising that she's gotten from magazines. Now, all those women's magazines, every single front cover has got how to lose 10 pounds, how to lose 5 kilos in 2 weeks, how to...
Oh, yeah.
Everyone, and that's like the capturing title. So I must have spent ages pulling out all the magazines that she's read about different diets, how she should look like, and it was like all cluttering her mind, and she couldn't even cook for herself anymore, but she was just comparing herself and what she should be eating to all these rules and regulations that the magazines have given. And we had to free her mind. We had to clear it all out so that she wasn't filtering her relationship to food or her relationship to her body through those.
Wow. That makes perfect sense, because think about how much we are always fed. Don't eat eggs, don't eat fat, don't eat carbs, don't eat meat, don't eat.
And then at the end, it's like, what do I eat? Don't eat after 8, don't eat before 8. Eat a big breakfast. Don't eat a big breakfast because you're supposed to be fasting. It's just like, it's too much.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we've all been told not to eat everything if it really boils down to that. Oh, interesting. So what about for people who can't find the root story, who might be thinking, I that makes perfect sense to me, but I don't know what happened. I don't remember anything. How can they help access those stories?
That's a really good question. So one way you can do that, I mean, I'm just trying and give you exercises that doesn't matter where you come from or what you've learned, a universal exercise would be journaling. Just begin by journaling. So you, and again, not editing it. So it could be like you write a question. why am I overeating? Okay. And it could be, and you just start, and it will all start to come out. Oh,